Hey fuckos. So, a thing that people struggle with is, and I did, like, it's one of those dumb little short videos I did where I was fucking around with a dagger, but can I get you to just, Rune's going to apply some pressure laterally, and I'm going to answer it with lateral pressure. Boom, because I don't want them pushing my sword offline, do I? Now when Rune suddenly rips their sword away, cool, that was cool, just rip it that way. I fall into the space. Can I get you to come around here and just look over my shoulder? But, so here, but Rune suddenly rips their arm away, and I fall into it. So even if I'm moving little, I'm like I'm threatening the Dutch, and then whenever you feel like you think you could fuck with me, just pull it away. Right, I end up falling laterally in. Same thing happens on the outside. Boom, I'm like not letting Rune whip, and I fall. This is really important. Rune can do other things to fuck with me, like sliding up my blade to ramp up my pressure. Yeah, right, boom. You're right, and then as soon as you flick past my tip, I'm gonna fucking fall into space, and all I've got, if I'm on point, all I've got is, if Rune suddenly leaves, like a circular action that has some of it. You're so polite. Pull away. Right, and then usually they're probably going to dunk on me for it. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with this kind of pressure? Because then people keep fighting like this, and then the tips come up, and then this happens. And maybe I win there, and it becomes the HEMA fucking match of all time. But I'm hoping we can become better than that. So to answer this, I actually pull my hilt away from the middle line a little, which puts my blade point over the top. As Rune's pressuring inwards, it actually starts to slide you into my strong for free, which then you're no longer winning this bind. Hey, if you try and go back to my weak, I can play off it, but just opening this space, if I open it with my arm like this, Rune's able to suddenly hand up high. Yep. Oh, I love that. But do it in first. Just first. Oh. Turn. Yeah. Right? This can come in if I do it with a bent elbow. So if I'm just doing this, Rune just dives that hand up and hits me in the... Yeah, right? Yeah. Something like that can occur quite regularly. Or she does that, or they do that straight into my face or my neck. Boom. I turn. Boom. Right? Fabris is base. And that's because of this internal pressure. Boom, 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 boom. And then you're like, screw it, through my weak. Through my weak. Boom. Boom. That becomes quite difficult. So I want to really let this open. And if I've got the Tybalt grip, this gets really easy because I can just do this. Because hilariously, even though this is closer, Rune goes through my weak, attacks my forearm. It's easier for me to use my shoulder to deal with their attempt at graduating my sword. Where here it kind of gets a bit locked up. But then I can start applying just the littlest bit of this reach feeling. That here Rune goes to dive the hilt at my weak. I can be a gremlin. Go to do it as a thrust, not as a random graduation, but just as a thrust. Your attempt to attack my weak means I get to pull my weak away. Sorry.
No, that was great.
I get to pull my weak away from their attempt to graduating. Because then they're suddenly doing a parrying action. Because they're searching with their strong laterally while attacking, meaning that you can pull the weak away from where they're searching and trying to find and reach through the fog to grab my weak. So you open this up, boom, and then you can do this like rotating around this point, counter thrust, and you can get over the top. So if Rune doesn't go for my weak and just kind of goes through my strong, you can suddenly thrust them in the armpit or thrust them in the waist. Or if the hilt stays low, straight into the head. On the outside, rune's pressuring left or right, suddenly ditches, disengage, yeah, cool, right? And I fall through that space. But if I open this shape up, you suddenly leave. I just get to actually extend through into that position. Boom. So opening this up, rune goes to attack my forearm. Cool. Hits it if I'm brain dead. Attacks my forearm. Suddenly all I need to do is straighten my arm and it defends it and may even progress into an attack. Boom. Maybe. The attack landing is not as likely. Like sometimes people will be just so gung-ho that you're like, I guess I'm stabbing you in the head. Most of the time it becomes the thrust that scares the shit out of them. And then you play from there. And it may become multiple actions, but at least you've got a profound advantage. I'm just going to do it in a more traditional grip just to show how that works. You can be here, and because of this internal pressure, you can turn into second. And right, rune goes, fuck it, I'm going to attack down Main Street. I need you to actually attack, sadly. Or it doesn't work, right? Boom. Because if you're not attacking... no, yeah, you're doing it as like 2 or 3 tempo. I just need you to extend. Now I can actually just do it. And if you do it as like 2 or 3 tempo, then the game can change, right? Because if you just leave, I can thrust through this position to then drown everything out. If you disengage off this, I can place my sword through. Outside to outside, I could be in a faux second, like, or a faux third, and I'm like, I can just go into fourth, let rune fall through that space, they go to attack down the middle, and I get to do that beautiful high fourth position that you see in a lot of Italian texts. Boom. So I counter with this straighter arm, but I'm angulating over the top. Yes, they can see a target down Main Street, but in the next tempo, it's not worth taking. Take the top shot, boom. I was being really polite. Take the shot. You can just extend that straight through. So instead of answering pressure with pressure, answer pressure with angulating your sword into the same plane that they are suddenly pressuring. If someone tries to match it, or they go, no, I'm going to push your sword, you start to see this. They start to pressure, but now rune's trying to pressure upwards, and it's like, cool, I'll just let you fly off into Narnia, and I actually do the fly off that you are hoping to do to me, right? Yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea of how to use angulation to answer pressure instead of internal and external pressure. You can also help it with your foot angle, so just do the exact same thing, but help it with the angle of the feet. Boom. Outside, boom. Help it with the angle of the feet. Notice I'm getting this beautiful graduation for free suddenly. I'm not pressuring with my hand. I'm turning my feet, turning my point, and I get to play off it. But that's like where you go after you're at least already thinking of doing it with your arm. This should reduce your fatigue and make them more fatigued, because you're like, oh, I don't need to fight you. Like, my forearm's actually sore because that's the most I've done internal and external like pressure against someone in I don't know how long, because I refuse to answer it with lateral pressures. Yeah, hopefully that helps you out. Quickly, thank you to everyone who's been subscribing to my Patreon. That makes me want to cry regularly. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much stress that it helps me not have, especially when things have been quite stressful for me recently. I've got more time to do more videos. Maybe all of that's alluding to the same thing. Yeah, I'm going to try and get more videos out while I can. If you can encourage anyone to subscribe to it, that's neat. That helps me actually live while doing this. I put all these videos out about 2 weeks early. I've got my LARP fighting videos that'll be coming out over the next few months, and I'm going to try and get more of these just random tidbit how to work on certain just little interactions while I've got the headspace for it. Thank you all so much.